My name is Richard Young. I'm the president and the CEO. We are a Nevada-focused gold mining company. If we look at the next slide, it refers to our safe harbor language, as I will be making forward-looking statements through this brief presentation. As I mentioned at the outset, we're Nevada-focused. Nevada is one of the largest gold-producing regions globally. It's always ranked as the top mining area globally to mine in. We are the fourth largest mineral resource holder in the state. We're one of two companies with process facilities to treat refractory materials. We have 4 brownfield projects, and as we redevelop these projects, our target is to move from less than 50,000 ounces of annual production this year to more than 600,000 ounces by the early 2030s. If we look at the next slide, you're looking at our asset base in more detail. 6.5 million ounces of gold in measured and indicated category and 7.5 million ounces in inferred, plus roughly 200 million ounces of silver split equally between those two categories. We are currently, or plan to over the next 12 to 18 months, complete infill programs on all of these 5 assets to convert the blue bars into gold bars and expand those. Grades are high, which is a benefit whenever you're looking at a mining company. Grade is king, as they say. So moving on to the next slide, this lays out how we're going to convert that large resource base into production and free cash flow. We have a 3-phase development program that allows us to essentially double production with each phase and free cash flow. And by the early 2030s, we would expect to be producing 600,000 plus ounces of gold, plus a fair bit of silver. Moving to the next slide, this slide shows the NAV, the net asset value of the 5 gold deposits included in our development plan at $3,000 gold. And the NAV is roughly about $5 billion. And just for reference, our market cap is roughly $1 billion. So there is significant upside as we execute on our development plan as we move to fair value. Moving to the next slide, this lays out the 3-phase development plan and the work that's required to be able to achieve that 600,000 ounce plus production profile in the early 2030s. So in phase 1, we have begun construction of our second underground mine as we ramp the first underground mine up to full production. We have begun the Lone Tree refurbishment work. The board's approved a limited notice to proceed that allows us to begin the detailed engineering, order long lead equipment, as well as update our operating permits. And this timeline allows us to pour gold before the end of 2027. Phase 2, we're working through both feases and permitting. Phase 3 with Mineral Point, we're looking to advance that. Permitting has begun, baseline work, and there may be an opportunity to accelerate the permitting and development of that asset as we move forward. As we move to the next slide, over the past year or so, a number of us started about a year ago. And the first thing that we did was we laid out a development plan that allows us to recapitalize the balance sheet and show the value proposition that followed in the 5 PAs that we filed in the first quarter. We've stabilized the first underground mine that's ramping up, and that's proceeding. We've added depth across the team. We've advanced our recapitalization plan, and we expect to have that complete by mid-next year. And begun construction of our second mine. So again, a lot of activity in a short period of time, and a lot more to come. As we move to the next slide, in order to complete the development plan, we need to complete the recapitalization. We've got roughly $200 million of debt on the balance sheet today that is maturing over the next 12 to 24 months. We need to restructure that debt We need roughly $400 million to refurbish the autoclave and another $200 to be able to move this development plan forward over the balance of the decade. So that work is underway. We raised equity in the second quarter, combined with the warrants attached to it. That's about $300 million. We've got roughly another $100 million that will become available over the next few years through restricted cash and additional warrants. We're looking at a $400 million senior debt facility. We're looking at a royalty sale of roughly $200 million, as well as the sale of a non-core asset to raise somewhere between $50 and $100 million that allows us to overraise to fund this development plan and potentially accelerate permitting and development of the asset base as we move forward over the next 12 to 24 months. So as we move to the next slide, so near-term catalysts over the next 12 to 18 months, first and foremost, we've started construction of our second underground mine, Archimedes, and that's proceeding well. And as we move through the fourth quarter of 2025 into 26 and early 27, we will have 5 tech reports that are already underway and being completed, and we expect to deliver those on time. And as we mentioned at the time that we put out the PAs in the first quarter, we believe that as we complete these infill drill programs, the financial results will be better than what were in the PAs. In addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, there's the potential to move Mineral Point, our flagship asset, forward and include a pre-feas or a feas within the next 18 months. Recapitalization is well underway, and we expect to have that completed by the second quarter of next year. That will allow us to move forward and execute on this development plan as we've laid out. So in summary, when you look at I-80, we're located in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, Nevada, every year voted the best mining jurisdiction globally. We've got one of the largest gold and silver resources in the state, and we expect over the next 5 or 6 years to move from less than 50,000 ounces to plus 600,000 ounces per year at very competitive costs. And we trade at a material discount to the net asset value of our assets, which are only going to improve as we complete the infill drill programs, given each one of these assets is open at depth and along strike. And so we believe the feasibility studies will be better than the PAs that we put out in the first quarter of 2025. That's why I own the stock. I've bought, including the warrants that I acquired as part of the financing in the second quarter, about 5 million shares. And I do believe that we have an unparalleled pipeline of growth that's unparalleled in the industry in a Tier 1 jurisdiction. And so that's why we're so excited with what we have here at I-80.